Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with, well, a vehicle that you must appreciate if you own a Blazer or a Bronco, because without these vehicles, the International Scouts, the Bronco would not have arrived in '66, the Blazer wouldn't have arrived in '69. Let's keep in mind, the first Scout, 1961, was the first, well, civilized Jeep, if you will. And without that Scout, it's unlikely that Bronco or Blazer would have followed. Now, this is something called the Scout II. The first Scout was made 1961 through 71, the Scout II, 71 through 1980. And this one is a 1975, and this was a four-wheel driver. But these are very unique vehicles. Now, these had the same 100-inch wheelbase as the first generation Scout, but were far more evolved. These are the first Scouts that had available automatic transmissions, available air conditioning, available power steering, and standard front disc brakes on every single one of them. So basically, you might say that International took a good look at the Bronco and the Blazer, and in '71 came out with their answer to the vehicle that copied them in the first place, if you know what I'm trying to say. Now, this one here was a four-wheel drive. The leaf springs and axle are gone, but we can still see here the locking hubs right here in plain sight. And notice too that International made their own locking hubs. These are not Warns or Spicers. See the International logo there? You turn these puppies, and on the other side of it, there were the splines that would engage the axle shaft and then make the front wheels turn and pull the vehicle forward. But again, two of these puppies right here. This was a four-wheel driver, but again, that's all in the past. Now this one here, let's see what engine we have. Okay, there it is right there. This is a V8. Now, 82% of all Scout IIs in 1975 were V8 powered, and that's going to be either a 304 or a 345. And here's the emission sticker right here. You can see the sticker accommodates both 304 or 345. Now, the carburetor will tell us a lot. Okay, there's the two barrel. So this is either the 304 or the 345 two barrel. The 345 could be had with a four barrel, so we can't really nail it down. They're very similar to look at. These are heavy duty engines. In fact, unlike a Chevy 350 or a Dodge 360 or a Ford 351, these are major engines. These are actually used in buses in the 392 cubic inch family version. Now, the base engine in the Scout, going all the way from 1961 through 1980, was the Slant 4, which was half of a 392 by this point in time. They called it the Comanche 196, but again, that was 18% of the time, 82% of the time V8s in 1975, despite the 1973 OPEC oil problem. These were thirsty, but people wanted their four-wheel drive, and they got it right here. And this one does have power steering, which again was something only available in Scout 2. $154 well spent. That's a Saginaw steering box. If you know your GM products, you can see that's definitely GM sourced from the Saginaw gear division of General Motors. Other things we see here, kind of cool. Jack storage, the jack and the lug wrench located right here under the hood. And here's the original lug wrench, probably never been used. It doesn't look like it's really ever been disturbed. The jack is gone, but that's where it lived, right in here. Again, we have a GM alternator right here, International Harvester. While they made their own hubs and engines, they did not make their own accessories like this Delco GM-sourced alternator. But again, I gotta love how the hood on these things is kind of like a Corvette. You know, it hinges at the front and opens like this. Kind of a safety thing, actually. A rear hinged hood can blow open on the open road. But again, this is something that was standard, not seen on the first generation Scout, kind of weird. So only the Scout II, 71 through 80, would have that cool hood. But look at the windshield on this. It's a mixture of modern and retro. The windshield is a flat pane piece of glass, which is absolutely a relic of the 1940s before the curved windshield era. But again, it cut costs, and it kind of made it a little bit retro, maybe before retro was cool. Just saying. Now here we have the top on this is steel, not fiberglass, like on a Blazer, which would have a plastic roof. Well, these were strictly steel. And like most Blazers, these are not meant to be removed. These are bolted down. And if you want to take that off, you have yourself a project on your hands. They're really not meant to be removed. Now the rear axle is gone from this one. We can see the leaf spring rear suspension, which was also standard fare in Broncos and Blazers, heavy duty stuff in the back. 39.2% would have had limited slip differential. Believe it or not, 61% would have had an open differential, according to statistics for 1975. Now, 75 was the final year that International also offered pickup trucks and the Travelall, which was kind of like a Chevy Suburban, but by way of International. 1976, they introduced this, and this is basically the International Scout Traveler And what they did is they took the Scout and they extended the wheelbase by 18 inches right there and made basically a filler for the Travelall. So what they did is they scrapped everything except for the Scout 2 after 1975, and for 76 through 80 had nothing but these vehicles. But again, they were available as a pickup truck or as a variety of different roof types. But here's the bones right here, body on frame construction. Here's the Comanche Slant 4 standard engine, front disc brakes, standard equipment. And again, the shifter right here, here is the automatic transmission. I believe it was a Chrysler TorqueFlite by this point in time. I may be wrong, but we'll see that in a moment or two. And here on the back pages, we see all the different interior possibilities. There was a bench with a 3-speed manual, a bench with an automatic, buckets with a 4-speed and transfer case, etc. And here on the back cover again, here is the original Scout 2 short wheelbase, still made through 1980. But again, these are the Scout Traveler and Scout Terra, which were the SUV Blazer type long wheelbase and pickup truck versions. Again, these came along in 76. Now 1980 is when International got out of the light truck business. All of the Scout 2s were dropped and they concentrated on heavy duty over the road big rigs, the Loadstars, Transtars. But again, this 1975 was made right toward the end of the Scout's reign of popularity. See on the quarter panel right here, interesting to see that Scout 2 and the 2 right there are direct reference to the fact that this is the second evolution of the Scout family. And this one has the factory lightweight option here, courtesy of Rust. The doors open nicely. Oh yeah, there we go. And inside, bucket seats. And a major thing that made the Scout 2 different from the Scout 1 was behind the seats. If we look right here, we'll see there's no fixed bulkhead. On the first Scout from 61 through 71, there was a wall that went all the way across that you couldn't get over without crawling. So for Scout 2, again, International took a good look at the Bronco and the Blazer and said, let's make that open. So this is a walk-through spot, and that back seat is a full width deal, 3 across. Up front, we can see here, this one is an automatic. And notice how the shift handle is bent toward the driver. It looks like somebody pulled on it and bent it, but that's actually how they were. Sort of a sporty touch right there. And the 4-wheel drive transfer case has been liberated from this one, but this was a 4-wheel driver when it was new. And something kind of cool, the instrument panel on this thing, you can see here, it's a combination of metal. This is metal that looks like wood. Call the Pope. It's a junkyard miracle. Once again, metal wood. Isn't that amazing? And then inside here, the instrument panel has a 120 mile an hour speedometer, which might be a little optimistic, but again, this one is a V8. And yeah, interesting stuff inside. And again, this windshield does not fold down, unlike the original Scout first version, which did have a fold down windshield. Here's the sticker for the VIN. This one was built July of 75. And I think the Watergate crisis was wrapping up by that point in time. Saturday Night Live, I believe, was just coming on the air when this thing was built. Let's go around to the front of this thing. Chevy Chase, John Belushi, Garrett Morris, Gilda Radner, Jane, whatever her name was. Now here's the other side of that 304 or 345 V8 engine. And these engines were used all the way up to 1980. And after 1980, again, International concentrated on heavy duty over the road 18-wheelers, big rigs, and 5-tonners, that kind of thing. Now at the front, you can see it has round headlights, and kind of cool here, here's the grille. Plastic. This is injection molded plastic right here. It saved cost. It could be facelifted for minimal investment versus a stamping or a die casting. And even the headlight surrounds were also made of plastic with flash molded chrome that, well, you can see what's going on with that. But again, this was a way that International could give these things a facelift without major expense. And again, here's the front of that 4-wheel drive frame. And all that stuff has been liberated. Now the engine, these things are, again, heavy duty. These will live long lives, and these are used in school buses, that sort of thing. And in fact, this engine did live on into the 1980s aboard the like the 5-ton International 6-wheel trucks and stuff like that. The over-the-road trucks would have diesels, which were certainly a whole other evolution from this. So that's the story of the 1975 International Scout 2 here in the junkyard. And again, if you like your Bronco or your Blazer, you have to thank International for kind of inventing the really nice Jeep, if you will, which is the place that Bronco and Blazer jumped off from in the 60s. But again, Detroit's kind of an incestuous circle, if you will. And by 1971, International took a good long look at their competition and came up with this. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel and be sure to ring the bell. That way you'll be aware of the new videos that come out every single morning. And if you have some time on your hands right now, why not go to the channel playlist? We have like 300 or 400 videos you can watch right now for free. Well, until tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.